Okay, lovely. Greetings. Greetings, and welcome to another edition of the Wound Dress Journey, Groundings with Languages of Land and Soul. So here we are again, a lovely rainy day. Planted some cabbage this morning. Mm-hmm. See, can you hear that? That's rain. A little bit more rain than was expected, but that's okay too. Um, it'll help things grow. So today, I'm still kind of on the thing of the fun loving Jesus. But today is really about the value of dormancy, um, because we've been harvesting some things like nettles, asparagus, negi, like scallion, and shiitake a little bit, uh, sorrel. These are things we've been eating. Blue leaf cabbage. These are things that have overwintered. They have lasted the winter, and they've come back. And so we're watching them come back in the spring. We're reveling in their return, in the abundance of their return, and that's a glorious thing. Um, so somehow or the other, I can't quite think of how I did it now, but it's related to this idea of. So I was thinking, because as I'm working outside, I record these lives and then I listen back sometimes. It's part of the company that I have while I work outside. And I was listening and to the part about the fun-loving Jesus, and I just thought from last week, and I was thinking, is this really clear? A- and I just think, and at some point, I realized while listening that it felt like to me as if I was asking permission, you know, to be fun loving. It was less that I was talking about. I was using Jesus, the example of Jesus, what can I say? As an excuse, you could say. It's a way of granting myself permission or of asking permission to actually express myself as fun loving. That's the thought that came to me uh, while I was re-listening to last week's live. So I just wanted to share that. I'm not sure how it relates in that sense to. Well, it does. It relates to the dormancy and the value of dormancy because part of the definition of something being dormant or being in dormancy is that the conditions are unfavorable, right? So unfavorable conditions will encourage or drive a being into being dormant, resting, not being physically active until conditions change, and so that's how these things are connected for this week. So we're talking about the value of dormancy, or I don't know if we're talking about it, but we're vibing, we're grounding with the value of dormancy this week. So thank you very much for tuning in, and a reminder that the 31st is we're gonna have a open day here on the farm, and you can come and enjoy some of these things that I'm telling you about, like nettles and asparagus and all these other things, and there will be other people here coming to also share their productions, right? Share their the fruits of their labor and their being, and we all will all emerge from dormancy in that sense. Hopefully, in an environment that has favorable conditions, right? That's what we're trying to do here on the farm. So. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go. So I'll tell you, over the past couple years, I've discovered a new a method of farming that works for me. So this is when I make beds in the fall. Sometimes I plant them, like let's say with daikon or something like that, or black radish, or things that will do well in the cool of the fall, but then also they don't survive the winter. Okay? So this is not quite talking about dormancy, but this is just something that's been going on this week. So then what happens is in the spring, um, the beds are kind of already made because they were sort of freshly made in the fall and and taken care of. So there's not much weed residue or anything. There's some plant residue, which is decomposed, and but the beds haven't necessarily shrunk, by the wear and tear of the season, and also the snow and the water of spring. So the beds are pretty much formed already. So then when spring comes, all I do is I pull the hoe. I have a triangle shaped hoe, senkaku, and I pull it along and I make a furrow and then I plant. There's moisture in the soil. There's a bunch of ways that this works quite well. I don't have to plow and disc and till and cultivate and all that stuff on wet soil, and so it gets me on there a little bit earlier. So I'm telling you this because it's a nice way of farming that I sort of discovered for myself over the past couple of years. Um, but what's happening is that now it seems like I have a rotator cuff thing, right? So for anybody who knows what that is, it's not the it's not the it's a little bit painful at times, and so there's also it's a I guess what they call repetitive stress injury or repetitive injury stress or whatever it's called. So so it's interesting that this method that I've found that's working now gets complicated, of course, by this issue of the rotator cuff, but I'll manage it. But it's forcing me again to sort of think of different ways, different ways of proceeding, how we're doing things. So I'll let you know how things develop as time goes on. But it's something I am kind of keeping an eye on, this rotator cuff, because simple movements. But so far, this isn't causing me any difficulty, right? None of this is causing me difficulty, but the hoeing seems to be causing some kind of difficulty. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. Just wanted to share that with you. So along the lines of dormancy still, uh, the nettle that we have here on the farm moves around all the time. There are some places where we can consistently find maybe small patches, um, but then it changes, like each year it changes, it moves around a little bit. We'll still find maybe some growth in some areas, but it just changes. It's a plant that finds opportunity and finds different suitable environments, and it moves on its own. Um, we're not interested in eradicating it, that's for sure. But I find it interesting, to say the least, I guess, to see where it decides to crop up in the next year, and how this kind of relates to this idea of dormancy. Just as I'm playing and as I'm thinking, it's the idea of a comfortable or a safe or a suitable environment. Um, really, if the being, whatever it is, as a sentient being or as a feeling being, as a living being, um, doesn't vibe off of the environment, right? Then it's just gonna rest. It's not gonna come up. That's intelligence of a sense. Um, this environment, this situation, this this thing is not fitting for my growth. So I'm gonna take a rest and see how things progress. And that's the other thing that they say. Sometimes, especially gardening books, they always like to warn you about not letting your weeds go to seed and all that stuff, because you'll end up with like millions and billions of seeds in this bank just waiting for the right opportunity to grow, which to an extent is true. I mean, of course it's true, but it's I don't know if it deserves to be given as a warning. But 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 the truth of the matter is, though, is that it's an intelligent thing to kind of rest until 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 you feel ready to come out. There's no other way to put it. So dormancy is kind of like an act of ultimate intelligence. Yeah, and apply that however you want. So, okay, dormancy is the act of ultimate intelligence. Sometimes we value this fight. Um, Popular thinking or popular culture, whatever, will value the fight. You know what I mean? Fight it. Fight. Um, Dormancy is an act of intelligence, really. Dormancy is an act of intelligence. And I think that's it for today. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'm very happy to have shared today with you. And please join again next week. And like and subscribe and all that stuff. But anyways, please join again next week, and hopefully these these uh, these things can help us move along whatever path we're on together. So I share with you some joys and challenges and whatever that happens during my week, and if it resonates with whatever has been going on with you, great. Because we're all in this world together, right? So all the energy is sort of happening when it rains, as they say, it doesn't rain on one man's house, right? So we're all experiencing all this energy together. So that's the situation. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.